Manish Palaniyappan. I am based in Chennai. Native is Karaikudi. So I have been practicing photography for the past 12 plus years. In various genres I tried, and right now I am doing mostly of motorsports and wildlife, and some corporate industrial video portfolios also. Before getting into photography, I was with like any other engineer. I also did my engineering and joined in a corporate company, and I was working with Ashok Leyland for 10 years, and then few other corporates like Caterpillar and John Deere. So I was growing gradually as a engineer, as a management person, and this interest on photography started when I visited Japan by 2007 on an official trip actually. I never knew photography is of such a big world arena till the moment I have seen a showroom in Kyoto, Japan, which was running for stories, and the whole building is for only photography. And on the top floor of that building, there was a conference kind of thing going on with a group of photographers who are based on the local area. We are seeing all these groups now in Chennai, but in 2007 I have seen these kind of stuffs happening in Japan. That's where it triggered to buy my very first camera. My first camera was IX-US 95, which I bought in Japan on that shop only. After that period of time, after trying all stuffs like that, then I bought my first DSLR, which used to be a EOS 1000D. Not sure that model is right now available. Then it got a lot of versions out of it. EOS 1000D with a kit lens of 1855 was my first gear. That's how it all started, and here I am now into full-time photography after 12 years. So initial days we used to go for photo walks with a small group of people. Now you guys have the luxury of coordinating and getting things, and a lot of supports are coming out with groups like Madras Photo Bloggers and many others in the city. But those days it's all more of a personal touch. It was not this easy, but it had its own advantages. So we used to group and we used to go for a photo walk. The first time I gone for a photo walk was with Mr. Prabhakaran Sambandam. Many of you may not know him. He is not much active in social media platforms and all. He only took me to Kanchipuram with few others. We have gone to Kanchipuram, and that's where it triggered me. That's where I started seeing things from a different perspective. So when you go to a temple, you always see from the front view or the side view or whatsoever. So that's when I started sitting and taking photo just to get a perspective of a leaf on the floor or something like that. It may look very amateurish, or it may look a very basic photograph if I go and review that, but that was a paradigm shift for me, which made myself to place apart from the whole crowd who used to take in a standing posture of kind of thing. So that's when it all started, and after which I'm not into that genre right now at all. These days I'm not into that genre at all, but still that's where it all started. Sometimes people ask me who is my inspiration. I admire many professionals in the world. There are fantastic photographers out in the world, but something to inspire is something different from admiring the things. For example, if something has to inspire me, it should give some energy to me. It should fuel my motion, fuel my expedition, fuel myself to do more than what I have been doing yesterday. So I usually say that comes from the youngsters of today, because these guys at this age make so much use of the technology available. be it socialization, be it marketing, be it spreading it out, be it the photography post processing, how you organize events, all these stuffs. A guy who is of 42 years old like me, for me it really amuses. See how to make use of this today's technology and make the best out of everyone's imaginary. The project work which I go to the college for workshops, the project work they submit, and I don't feel shame in telling in the stage also that I learn a lot. I have a lot of takeaways from the work which I myself review, because it's art. It's not a text wherein you read a book and write out the answer. It's not a max formulae where you put up the numbers and get out of the result. This is art which has an endless there's no limit for these stuffs. Imagination, what you guys are doing right now is also not the end of the world. Again, the tomorrow's kids are going to do much more than what you guys are doing now, though. So it's a journey. It's nothing to stop or do something over to that target. So to answer, coming back to the answer of the question, these youngsters who use the best out of what's available today are my inspirations, and they are doing a fantastic job, I should say. So after trying many genres, checking around, I was doing all kind of genres. The one which came very close to my heart is wildlife. I have been doing. I even did wedding. Many may not know who is in my close circles. I did even wedding. I liked it very much, but not to the level of how I fell in love with wildlife. Maybe it tested my skills, or it tested my patience to the extreme, and then rewarded me at the last. I have been to wildlife safaris to almost every single national parks in the country, and I still remember the first time I had the sighting of tiger walking right in front of me. It still gives me goosebumps even from my memories. The shot which I have taken in Tadoba Tiger Reserve, wherein we were in an open jeep, and that's my first tiger sighting in the wild. And the wild tigers are much different on their behavior, on their looks, than what you see in your textbooks or the zoological parks. The history behind the tiger, when you get to know the history behind the place, how they are maintaining the place, how the tiger is, the real wild tiger walking in front of you, and you are holding a lens and seeing through your camera. And at one point of time, I couldn't focus it because it has come so close to me. The minimal focal distance has crossed in, and then took off my camera. It's standing right next to the jeep, and there is nothing between me and that wild animal. A gorgeous looking tiger. I cannot just explain in words those moments. So those are the things which I love about. I have not been to many countries in the world. I have been to only very few countries exploring the nature. Quite a few are Southeast Asia, some places, Japan, Africa exclusively for wildlife, and India, most of the places. So personally, I would say India has a tint of every single nature wonder in the world. If you want to experience snow, if you want to experience a beautiful landscape, you have places. If you want to experience desert, you have it in India. If you want to experience rainforest, you have it in India. If you want to experience dry places, dry forest, savanna kind of thing, you have in India. The Desert National Park, you have in India. If you want a greenery with a lot of wild animals and activities, you have it here. If you want to explore Sundarbans kind of thing, mangrove kind of forest, you have in India. So India itself is like its own planet kind of thing, wherein it got everything here. Even if you are thinking that you are in center of the concrete jungle in Chennai, you still have places in and around Chennai. Pulicat is such a beautiful place for birding. There are a lot of outskirts, Sirthaur kind of places where you can see a lot of raptors, fishing activities kind of things. So there's no limit to explore these countries. For example, if you go to Africa, it's a plain savanna. If you go to the United Arab Emirates, it's all desert. But India has a flavor of every single thing in the world. So you can explore a lot. If you love landscapes, you can go to North Himalayas and all. Is fantastic place to have see nightlife, night skies and all. Like I have been to Spiti Valley recently. So you can literally see the galaxy up above your head rising and setting. And you need not to have a camera with a long exposure to capture all those things. Just with your naked eye, you can experience it. It's all experience of a lifetime, I would say. I do wildlife and I get published out of it, and that's not the commercial venue for me to. That's not a commercial platform for me to work on. It's more of a personal passion. So what I commercially do is, other than corporate videos and portfolios, I do motorsports. I shoot officially for few corporates, including Maruti Suzuki Racing, Tata, GK Tires, MRF and Yamaha India, all these guys I have been working for. Maybe why I fell in love with motorsports also, because there are two basic reasons. One is I am an engineer myself. I have been into automotive field for 2 decades, so it's little close to heart, because that's where just after schoolings you get into learning of the engine. So when the engine really rooms and flies around, you get a flavor of love from it. And the second reason is, motorsports genre demands the exact same requirement as a wildlife photography. Very simply saying, there is no retakes. It's all depending on your reflex, and most of the things are unplanned. You will not know what's going to happen when the car is approaching you. It can drift, it can jump, it can take a turn, or it can brake. So the angle and the backgrounds and the flavors, all these things matters a lot. For example, I have been doing officially shooting for Maruti Suzuki's Raid the Himalayas, wherein you get to experience minus 15 degrees and you need to shoot on minus 15 degrees and shoot it across. Those are experience of a lifetime, highly challenging platform, and which demands highest level of reflex. You should have a very high amount of reflex to freeze the frame and get the desired output. Just like wildlife again. See, Chennai, I was born in Karaikudi, but couple of months then I am a baby of Chennai, say. So I have been in Chennai for the past 42 years to be exact. So I have seen Chennai from every single angle and fell in love with Chennai from every single angle. And in my childhood they call it Madras, now it is Chennai. So I'm one of the proud kid who can say I have seen the transition from Madras to Chennai. So whatever I am now is from this city, be it my background, be it my parents and my parents' job or career or whatsoever, and now my kids' future city or whatsoever. And even in photography, it all started here when I took my camera and walked out and explored the streets of Chennai. I have been to many places for street photography in Chennai. So it's very close to heart. And then little late I discovered that out of within Chennai city there are opportunity for even a birder, a nature lover, and a motorsports lover. Of course, we have the best motorsports track in the country here in Chennai, and most of the weekends that would be my working office. So Chennai is very close to heart, not just for the photography part and even the personal part. I am a lover of food, actually, cuisine. So Chennai sambar vada, who will not love it? One of my favorite foods. So some of my favorite places within India, apart from going to Africa for wildlife safaris and hunting sessions, in India I used to go to national parks, but The most number of times I visit was our Pulicat bird sanctuaries exclusively for the flamingos. Flamingos are such a beautiful bird creature. Apart from photography, you can just fall in love with it very easily. So once when I been to Pulicat, I had in mind that I should take a very close portrait of a flamingo. I got the gears and woke up very early because you need to be there before sunrise, so you have to drive 1.5 hours from home. So I literally woke up around 3 a.m. and got ready and drove down and checked out. On the whole day, all I could get is only some white shots. I couldn't get a tight portrait. After some time, I kept my gears in the car and gone for a casual walk by the lake actually. Then suddenly it was around 7:30 a.m. Suddenly the light was falling through the fog level of the water, and a scene just came in front of me wherein the flamingos were all busy having their breakfast. For me, it looked like a texture of birds with the same shape, with the same position. All the flamingos had their breakfast with the same posture of their standing position, and the blue tint added to the morning blue added to the scene's flavor. So I literally ran few yards to my car and took my camera, zoomed back to 100 mm. I was having a 100 to 400, so I zoomed back to 100 mm and gone for a wide shot. That's one shot which I still love. It was very long back I have taken, and for 2013 it gone into special mentions of Sanctuary Asia Wildlife, and it got published by the editor himself in the magazine. On that magazine, the editor Bitu Sagalas wrote a complete note about that photograph alone. So more than it's getting published, the editor of the magazine himself writes about your photo. That's something amazing. Apart from even winning the award or whatsoever, that was close to heart. That was one of the very first recognition I got in 2013. After that, I got one of my hornbill images from our own Western Ghats got published in top 100 natural wonders, which has gone for a 5-city tour of wildlife exhibition in Russia. I got even the invitation to attend that on a VIP pass, but I didn't travel. It was very far off. So that exhibition went on for 1 year. So those are the things which are, apart from that, many publications in magazines, in Lonely Planet magazines and other things. It was good. As I said sometime before, you guys are really lucky. We are in an era. We should feel really lucky to be using the technology in the right sense. The technology is available, and people are using it in a very right sense. And Madras Photobloggers is one of the community where they are doing the networking so beautifully, so professionally, and you get to mingle with your like-minded friends, and you get to explore a lot. So everyone can read engineering from home, but still they prefer going to college, be in hostel, not just to study but to have a lifetime experience. That's what it translates to. That's the exact thing what I would say between photography and a Madras Photoblogger kind of place, wherein you get to meet like-minded people. You get to get cross-inspired out of the photographs taken by one more friend. You are not copying actually. It will inspire you a lot. When somebody is trying that much, it should trigger inside like, okay, we should also do something more. We should not get fixed up with what we have done is great, that's enough. Coming out of that glass box and thinking beyond it. So all these things are possible by these kind of society. So I really appreciate you guys Madras Photobloggers doing a great job in doing so. I personally wish I'm in teenage of this era so that I do much better in photography in future. So be it motorsports, be it birding, or some published images, or even the awarded pictures, people ask me or people express their feeling out of the photograph that this guy should be really lucky to have captured this. This guy should be really lucky, he got a fantastic shot, lucky shot. So I usually tell my students, or the students are attending my workshops also, like luck. When you say luck, it has three sub-products. Luck is a product of three major elements. One is the opportunity, and the next thing is your subject knowledge. The third is your skill set. So when I tell opportunity may come to you, or you can also go to the opportunity. For example, a fellow who is going for a photo walk every week has a better opportunity than a man who is going for a photo walk 6 months twice, or 3 months twice, or something like that. So you create your own opportunity. Then comes the subject knowledge, which is more important. When you take up a automotive shot, at what angle it is better, what angle it gives you the better portfolio. When you take a portrait, what you want to communicate to the people out of this portrait, what's the story behind the person, what he is doing, all these kind of things. Subject knowledge matters a lot to deliver the story from your photograph that adds life to that photograph. The third important thing is your skill set. With the changing technology, you have to upgrade, and you have to upgrade your photography skill set. For example, when it is wildlife, you should have a highest level of reflex. And if you are into fashion, you should have a very high knowledge of lighting. See, for example, I'm not that good in artificial lighting, but I'm good in reading the natural lights. At golden hours, how to shoot, at what settings I need to shoot, I'm sure. There are very good fashion photographers out there who are mastered in lighting. So these are your skill sets. So your result is a product of these three things: the opportunity, the subject knowledge, and your skill set. So opportunity, you have to work it on. Subject knowledge, your heart should follow that, otherwise please leave it. Your skill set, you need to upgrade by learning, and there are platforms out there like Metas Photobloggers and many other groups who are doing it. The more you get engaged, the more you get developed out of your skill sets, then you will get that lucky shot. People call it lucky, but the science behind the luck is this. So thanks, it was nice interacting with you guys. Hope you find it useful, and if you have any comments or whatsoever, please share it across. I'll be very happy to personally revert back with whatever I know. And if you have any personal doubts also, you can ping me on. And so you can follow me up in my Instagram page where I am more active these days. So it's Munish Palaniyappan. If you just type Munish Palaniyappan Instagram, it should take me to my page, and do that. If you are specifically interested in wildlife photography or exploring something, other than taking workshops, I do field workshops wherein I take people to the field and teach them, even in India, in Africa also. So if you are interested, you can ping me on. You can be in touch. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good day.